Hey guys, it's Amy from I Think I Can Be Happier, and just wanted to let you know that we had intended this to be a full episode about foundational routines, but as we were working on it, we decided to actually break it into part one that you will hear next, and then next week we will release part two. We had so much great information, we wanted to make sure we could get everything in, so we hope you enjoy it. Hi, everyone. Today on I Think I Can Be Happier, Hannah and I are going to be chatting about the importance of foundational routines and how they support executive functioning.
Yeah. And when we talk about foundational routines, we're meaning like these routines, these things that we can do in our lives that really, really support us. And at least from our perspective, is like our goal for them is supporting executive functioning, right? I mean,
Yes.
like we can't help but have everything come back to that. But
Right.
yeah. So we're going to talk about sleep, movement, or exercise, depending on, how you want to look at it, social connection, and nutrition. But before we get into that, as always, we would love for you to help us spread the word about I Think I Can Be Happier. If you can follow us on Instagram, icanbehappier.podcast. You can also go to our website, icanbehappier.com, get on our mailing list for our non-existent newsletter.
It'll be coming soon
Yeah,
at some
it
point
will.
in the future.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe we can get more people on there than just my mom.
Yeah. No, I'm on there too, Hannah.
You're on there too. Oh yeah. I think I am too.
Yes.
All right. You, me, and my mom.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So,
Um, and yeah. So anyway, I'm super excited about this conversation, Amy.
yeah, me too. Me too, Hannah.
I
What are we
think my
starting with?
clients are all probably like really annoyed. I don't know if they're annoyed, but I feel like I'm always like a broken record because I talk about these all the time. I think not every session,
Oh,
but in
yeah.
most sessions, I ask people about
Yes.
these things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I know, because these are really the things that are, happening kind of in the background all the
Mm-hmm.
time that
Mm-hmm.
we all really need in order to make everything
Yeah.
work better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I feel like it's like easy to ignore them because they are
yes,
just sort of part of daily life.
right.
And so it can be easy to forget about them and to forget like, oh, hey, let's actually put some love and care and attention towards these.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it would probably be helpful for us to just share with everyone that we're not here to tell everyone you got to go to bed earlier, you got to eat your veggies. This is not, we are not going to lecture you. We just want to talk
Mm-mm.
about, why these things are important and, a few easy things. If you want to try doing things differently, we can share some suggestions with you all.
And we also fully recognize that, everybody is different. Everybody's life situation is
Hmm.
different. And that's why, for example, like movement/exercise, we do like to call it movement. In a lot of the reading and research that I've done over the years on movement and exercise, I have found that many reputable sources do refer to it as movement and acknowledge that physical activity is physical activity. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to look like playing a full soccer game or running a marathon.
Right.
It could be folding your laundry or, uh,
Yeah.
I actually yesterday I met a friend in the evening yesterday, and hi Mel, and um,
Okay.
and I had to wait for her. Her brownies took longer to bake than she thought, and so I got to wait for her for about 20 minutes, and I was like, oh, I haven't actually moved my body today, so I just like walked around the perimeter of the parking lot. It was like a big sort of like big shopping center. And so I just walked around the perimeter of it. And yeah, it took me like 9 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I got
Nice. That's
I got
nine
some
minutes you
movement.
moved.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah.
started raining. So I got back in my car and watched the rest of my
Right.
Korean dating show.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Even
it was
just,
great.
yeah, even just, if you're able to park your car not right in front of the destination, the door that you're walking into, just to
Yeah.
give you get a few seconds of that
Hmm.
movement in too, can be
Yeah.
really helpful.
Yeah. And I remember
Yeah.
a very, very dear friend of mine who passed away quite, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago now. He was a quadriplegic, so he, couldn't like, hop up and go for a walk or anything. But he incorporated so much movement into his life. But what it looked like was like getting outside
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
actually, and part of the research that I did for today, I found that and we have heard this, but it was cool to see it in the research. Like getting outside is such a huge part of of that movement, and also of socializing too. And so movement can really look like anything, and we really, really, really mean it. Movement for you may be running a marathon, but movement for you may be, going down to the cliff to look out over the ocean in your
Right.
wheelchair. So, which is what Henry
Yeah.
used to do
Yeah.
all the time. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, if any of you are parents with young children,
Mhm.
it might just be, going to the park or
Yeah,
chasing your
yeah.
kiddo around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, just chasing
Yeah. It
around the
all
house.
counts.
Yeah,
Yes.
carrying them up and down the stairs.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So please, I mean, you'll hear us say throughout today's episode, but please keep in mind that whatever, if we give any suggestions or we mention any research, use your flexible thinking and really think about like, okay, that specific thing that they're mentioning, or with the way that we're talking about it right now, doesn't work for me. But what's the spirit of this conversation, and how can I adjust it to fit my needs and my life? And something else that I always say, if I'm doing a training or a workshop or a webinar, I always mention that the goal is like not perfection. And
Hmm.
it is always just giving some love and care and attention to the foundational routine or routines that might need it. And that could just be thinking about it, not actually taking any
Yeah.
action.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so, we 100% are not talking about perfection here. And Amy, you and me, like we're not,
Yeah.
like from far from it.
Oh gosh,
So
no.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
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 definitely.
yeah.
I know, Hannah, as I was doing a little research in preparation for today too, it really made me think about like where I'm at in each of these areas
Mm.
and where I hope to be, and just kind of thinking about my own personal goals around these. Because yeah, absolutely, we are definitely not we are not 100% on this for
Yeah,
sure.
mm-mm. Yeah,
So
and there's
yeah.
really no need. There's no need to.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go ahead and dive in here. We're going to be talking about sleep, then movement, nutrition, and then lastly, social connection. All right. Okay. So yeah, let's jump into sleep here.
Yeah.
So Hannah, how is sleep for you these days?
Oh,
Where are you
terrible.
right
It's
now?
pretty much non-existent.
Yeah.
And I know exactly why. There's two things. One is because I'm still jet lagged from some travel that we did.
Ah,
And two,
yes.
Korean dating shows. Like, what the heck? They're very addictive.
Okay. Just that's a warning to everyone out there.
Don't
Okay.
start Singles
Don't do
Inferno,
it.
especially not season 5. You will really regret it.
Hannah, you got to shift that to
I did.
earlier in your
I
day.
know. I finally finished. I finished it. I finished it last night, so I'm done for a little bit. Famous last words.
I, yeah, yeah.
So,
So,
yeah, yeah. Oh, the other thing is that yesterday, my kids were very sweet and brought boba home and shared boba with me. Got me a
oh, I
boba,
love
which was super
that.
cute.
Yeah.
But has caffeine in it, and the three of
Hmm.
us were up until 1 in the morning, at
Oh
least
my
one.
gosh, Hannah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was kind
so
of fun
Hannah,
though.
what was it? So you
Mm,
still had to get up
I
like at
did.
your normal time in the
I
morning.
did.
Like, how do you feel? Like, how does that impact you
It
the
doesn't.
next day?
It
It
pretty much
doesn't.
doesn't. Although I did right
Hmm.
before we got on, I did say, "Ooh, I actually feel tired."
You did. You
Yeah, but
did.
I think that's
Yes.
like
Yeah.
the result of, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's my ADHD, but like I am always exhausted, but I'm never tired. I like very
Yeah.
rarely feel
Yeah.
tired, even if I
Right.
like say I only get like 2 or 4 hours of sleep one night for whatever reason. I think I'm fine the next day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so sleep is 100% something that I need, that I really want to give more attention to. As soon as the Korean show people stop making, enticing
Okay.
content, it's their fault.
All right, Hannah. We'll talk about that later, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and Hannah, you mentioned ADHD. So I did just want to note that yeah, that is a common, I mean, that's a common symptom of ADHD for many people. Just the like feeling like you can't fall asleep, the feeling of not being tired, is definitely connected there, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe there's a connection between, lack of sleep can potentially make ADHD symptoms a little
Yeah.
more exacerbated
Oh, yeah.
and vice
Yeah.
versa, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it kind of
Yeah.
goes both ways, that relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, it really
So,
does. It's like
yeah,
that
yeah,
really
it's
lovely
tough.
vicious cycle.
I
Yeah.
know. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm definitely not I'm definitely doing better with sleep. I'm not where I
Oh,
want
good.
to be.
That's something we should acknowledge too. Like for
Mm,
women, as you get older and then your hormones start shifting, you can also really
yes.
struggle with sleep then there too.
Yeah, yeah. And what I learned about that I wish I had known years ago is that yes, those hormonal changes, they first start in the brain. So that's why sleep is often one of the first things that
Mm.
women might notice on the forefront before you have any other physical manifestations or changes hormonally. So just heads up, everyone, pay attention to your sleep. If you're
Yeah.
wondering what's going
Yeah.
on, just, yeah, talk to your doctor.
Mm.
But yeah, sleep it's just, we all know how important it is. I think it is often overlooked though, because there are situations in our lives, if you are, new parents, parents of young children, depending on your work situation, your age, your stage in life, there's a lot of things that impact your ability to get to bed, right? But it's just important, our brains are very active during sleep, consolidating memories, like kind of clearing out that metabolic waste, helping to regulate our hormones, and, restoring our prefrontal cortex, which Hannah, we talk a lot about that with our executive functions and the impact that all of that has on our ability to like plan, to make decisions, impacts our working memory and our impulse control. So it's all really important stuff to get some sleep there. Yeah.
Mhm. And did you
Keep,
find
yeah,
that, like, I know for me, like, I can handle like one or two nights in a row, and
yeah.
I don't, like I said, I don't really notice a difference. I don't know, maybe the people around me do, but I don't really notice it. But it kind of does like add up. And then after
Yeah,
a few nights of
definitely.
that, then I would really struggle. And I have gone through periods of my life where I've had like really bad insomnia, and that's pretty
Yes,
torturous.
yes,
Actually, like almost about a year
yes.
ago, I was really suffering from that.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the studies that I was kind of digging into for today was focused on like how sleep loss, not only impairs our cognitive performance, but also our emotional regulation.
Mm.
So even like when we we think that we're not affected by a couple of nights of lack of sleep, it actually does have more impact than we think.
Mm,
Others around us
mhm.
might be aware that, you know,
They might have a different opinion on how we're doing.
right, exactly. Because I know what you mean. Like I'll have a couple of nights of rough sleep and it's like I can push through a couple of
Yeah,
nights, right? I
yeah,
can
no
do
problem.
that.
Mhm,
But yeah, it really does actually impact us more than we're aware of, though.
mhm, mhm.
So Hannah, thinking about again, we don't expect everyone to just overhaul their sleeping habits, which is really hard to do. I'm sure that most of you have, you're familiar with some sleep hygiene rules. But, really we want to encourage you, maybe just try like a little experiment, maybe for a week or two. I know a big one is, trying to stick to your wake up time. This is something that, I've talked with my clients about a lot. Like even on the weekend, if you can still kind of have a range within your wake up time, like even with like a 30-minute window, that's going to help, kind of reset your circadian rhythm like for the entire day. And from what I read, there was some other research that I read that shared that like a consistent wake up time is actually like one of the most impactful changes we can make to
That's
sleep
cool.
quality.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, because that's often more achievable for most of us than trying
Mm,
to like fall asleep earlier because you
yeah,
can't make that happen magically,
no.
right? So yeah, so maybe just try that experiment of, trying to have that consistent waking time in the morning.
I also,
So
one thing that really helped me actually, well, still helps me if I ever can't sleep is try not to worry about how I'll do the next day. And because
Yes.
in general, we just do better than we think we're going to do, like we were
Yeah.
just talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, because I have found that when I learned about that and I stopped worrying about how I would do the next day, it was much easier for me to,
Yes.
well,
Yes.
the torture of being awake was a little bit less torturous. And also I just was like less anxious about being awake. So then I felt like it made it easier to fall asleep.
Hannah, are you familiar with the book Say Goodnight to Insomnia?
Mm-mm.
They talk a lot. That book is based on research out of Harvard Medical School. It's really, really wonderful for anyone who's struggling with falling asleep or waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to fall asleep. It has some really great practical strategies in there. And oh, shoot. What did you just talk about? I lost it.
Not worrying about being awake.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, and one of the things that they really hit home on, they call them NSTs, negative
Okay.
sleep thoughts.
Ah.
So that's what they call that. That like that's a big part of the problem when we
Mm.
can't sleep is that our brains kind of go to I'm going to feel really
Yeah.
crappy the next day. And so there's a big focus on really trying to reframe that with,
Mm.
I'm going to be okay. I can handle this. This is going to be
Mhm.
okay. So really
Cool.
changing your thinking around it.
The
Just
other
share that.
funny little thing that I have found that works is if I absolutely don't ever let myself complete the thought, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to fall back asleep. I'm never going to fall back asleep. If I can 100% allow myself, like make myself not say that entire thought in my head, then that really helps. Because I feel like if
Yeah.
I say it, then I'm like guaranteed not going to be able to fall asleep.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm like,
You
nope,
got to stop it.
yep,
Yep.
nope.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
listening to that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so important.
Well, thanks, Amy, for sharing that. I really enjoyed looking more deeply into movement and exercise for happiness. And I think the like kind of neatest thing that I discovered in it is two things. One is there's been a ton of research on the impact of movement and exercise for happiness and well-being. There's so much research, and the other thing that I learned is we don't actually have to do that much to reap the benefits of both the short-term and long-term benefits of movement. So it was pretty cool to read about it. So I found a couple kind of I love read for when I do research. I really love like reading meta analyses where they like look at a whole bunch of other research that's
Yeah.
been done because then like they do the work for me. And I
Right.
love reading their like their intros and their sort of like background explanation of the thing because there's just so much interesting stuff in there. And so I found this really cool study by a woman called Laura Barca, and it's really new. It's just from last year. And she did such a nice job of talking about all the benefits of movement and exercise. And so I thought I would just share some of the sort of higher level conclusions that research has found
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, it reduces anxiety. It can really strengthen and raise your self-esteem and your self-confidence. It gets us outside, which quiets our default mode network, which is the part of our brain that helps us with daydreaming and creativity and coming up with new ideas and thinking flexibly and all that. And what you want is you want your default mode network to quiet down when you want to work on something.
Hmm.
So if you have ADHD or some other neurodivergence that impacts your default mode network, our default mode networks are always on talking.
Yes.
And so getting outside actually helps quiet that, which is very cool. And
Yeah.
and the other thing is it strengthens interoception. And if you don't know what interoception is, it is like our metacognitive ability, so thinking about your thinking, to recognize, interpret, and reflect upon one's own internal bodily sensations.
Yes.
And so movement and exercise, like if you have a good practice of movement or exercise, and like we said before, whatever that looks like, it actually improves your interoceptive abilities.
Yes.
So in this study, she looked at like the benefits to interoception and then how that helps us. And then she also cited some other positive things. And so exercise or movement increases connectivity in the areas that are directly related to executive functioning. And then this enhanced connectivity leads to improved self-awareness and emotion regulation. So it's like a twofer.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a positive cycle to be in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then numerous studies have found that any kind of regular exercise, so it doesn't have to, regular does not mean difficult. Regular just means some kind of schedule, something that you are doing regularly, like whether it's once a week, every 2 days,
Yeah.
every day, whatever your regular means, contributes to cognitive enhancements in executive functioning, memory, which is also connected to executive functioning, resilience, cognitive resilience, decision making skills, improved mood, reduced stress, enhances
Mm,
self esteem. I mean, the list just goes on and on. And then exercise
yeah.
itself, like what you're doing. So, any kind of movement, what you're doing also supports executive function skills. So, like, for example, if you are, say you do play a team sport, you are working on planning skills, you're
Yeah.
working on
Yeah.
flexible thinking skills, like decision making and all that. And so you're
Right.
like you're supporting your body and your brain, but you're also like directly supporting your executive function skills.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's just really cool. So
Yeah.
there was another review of the relationship between physical activity and happiness. This is a little bit older, 2018, not super old, but 2018. Zhang and Chen, and they reviewed 23 studies, and all of the studies reported, actually they went through like 1,500 studies, and then they had some pretty strict requirements for the studies that would pass muster for their analysis. And so these 23 studies that they looked at, they all reported positive associations between physical activity and happiness.
Wow.
And they found that as little as 10 minutes a day, or just at least one day of some kind of
Yeah.
physical activity one time a week, can
Hmm.
make a really big difference.
Yeah.
And so it's, I feel like, actually, I was talking with a friend last night, and the same friend I walked around the parking lot for, and she and I were talking about movement, and she said, like, for her, just like she feels like she has to just jump in and do the big thing, and the
Hmm.
research
Hmm.
says you don't have
Yeah.
to. You can walk around a parking
Yeah.
lot. Although I only got
Yeah.
9 minutes in, so I don't know if I reaped the full benefits.
Yeah, and Hannah, I've heard yeah, I've heard the same thing about that, like even just 10 minutes a
Mhm.
day,
or
is
even just once a
beneficial.
week, 10 minutes, which
Right,
is,
exactly.
you
Yeah.
probably won't get like as many of the physical benefits,
Right.
right? But
Right.
your brain still benefits from it,
Yeah,
which is so crazy.
absolutely.
They call it
Absolutely.
the minimum effective dose of
Hmm.
movement. And that's going to be different, just like we said in the beginning, right? It's going to be different for everybody.
Right.
Like my friend Henry, like he had extremely limited movement of his body, but not in his wheelchair. So, it's going to look different for everybody else. So, yeah. And the other thing that they have found is that frequency is more important than intensity. So if you can get yourself to move your body more often, you're going to benefit more from that than doing, say, like, I don't know, like one like insane thing like once a month or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Right. Yeah.
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 And also the other thing that I felt encouraged by is that more isn't always better, and there was actually no significant happiness difference between an active person and a very active person. It's just like, is what you're doing, does it feel good, and
Yeah.
is it working for you? So, Amy, I know I mean, if anyone has been listening for a while, we've heard you talk about how you're trying to incorporate more movement and exercise into your life. What kind of movement exercise do you do?
And as you know, it is very important to me. Other than just like the physical benefits for myself, it's like my major source of stress release. I
Yeah.
crave it every day. So I try to do something every day. Some days that might just be walking my dog for a few minutes. It largely depends on my work schedule, but I love doing yoga. That's definitely one of the things that kind of gives me that mind body relief. So I love that. And I do some other classes as well that are a little bit more intense that I can't say I love them as much, but I know that they're good for me.
Yeah.
And, I definitely, I feel the effects after.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally need a class to go to get me. I know so many people can just go to the gym and do their own thing, but I need like the accountability to be around other people. I have to sign up for classes. So it really does kind of lock me into,
Yeah.
this is what I'm
Yeah.
doing first thing this morning.
Well, that's good
And
because a lot of the
yeah.
research shows that doing exercise with other people, there's like massive benefits from moving your
Yeah.
body with other people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, and actually after our recording today, I'm going walking with my friend Ellen. We
Oh,
walk once a
perfect.
week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we try to do at least an hour. I'm gonna say that probably sounds like a lot, but she has a newborn, so she's pushing a
Oh,
stroller and we're chatting. So it's kind of we
yeah.
move at a slow pace, but we are,
Yeah.
try to get out there
That's
and,
so cool.
yeah, enjoy the weather right now too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is I mean, that's like always one of the suggestions that we make and that, as coaches and then other people make is, like if you're struggling to move your body, then, make it fun
Yeah.
or make it social and, find
Right.
something that brings you joy or to do the thing that it might not bring you joy, but maybe the person that you're with. Like I don't love
Yes.
running, but if I can go running with another person, it's so much better.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So there's a ton of research that shows that when you move your body and with other people, there are multiple benefits and so like we know social connection is helpful and we'll talk about that more, and we know exercise is helpful. We're talking about it right now. When you
Yes.
combine them, it actually like enhances the benefits of both, which is
Right.
really cool. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you're not only
definitely.
are you like, as our friend Annabelle says, feeding two birds with one scone.
I love
Yeah.
it.
But you're also, you are enhancing the benefits as well, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And what's so cool is that the person that that I read about that I learned that from is Kelly McGonigal, the
Yeah.
author of The Opposite of
Yes.
Stress, which is what we did in episode 2. And she wrote a book called The Joy of Movement. And I haven't read the book yet, full disclosure, but I
Yeah.
did like a deep dive on the content. And and that's her. I mean, it's in the title of the book, is like your exercise, your movement does not have to be a slog. It can be something that brings you
Yeah.
joy. And,
Absolutely.
move whatever parts of your body move
Yeah.
whatever, like if just use the part of your body that does move, and then move in community, like that's why those classes, they do really help.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to a Saturday morning class and it's always such a blast. And then also move outdoors. And she talks a lot about this like human zoo of being inside and how it's so important to get outside and how there are so many brain and body benefits of being in the
Yes.
outdoors.
Yeah. And Hannah, that also ties in just to kind of connect that back to sleep, talking about like resetting your circadian rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't go running in the morning, but
Yeah.
just getting some sunlight first thing in the morning. If you can, I know depending on what time you get up and if you have sunlight, I have to wait a minute at my house for that to happen. But that's really powerful just to help, reset your circadian rhythm so that you can, fall asleep and get some deep sleep as well. So that combination,
I know.
if you can get outside, go for a walk,
Yeah.
could be really, really
Yeah.
powerful.
I
So
find feeding two birds with one scone very satisfying. So I'm all about like efficiency there.
just kind of thinking about another book that came to mind. It's been a long time, but I remember reading the book Spark, which
Oh
is,
yeah. I think I
have
have
you
that,
read
but
that, Hannah?
I
Yeah,
have it, but I haven't
I
read
bet
it
you
yet.
do. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. It's another great read, and it's all on like the mind-body connection. It
Mm.
does, again, it's been a minute since I read it, but it's like full of case studies.
Mm.
I want to say it's based on a school district in terms of like incorporating exercise and the impact that had long term on children. So it's
Yeah.
another good
Cool.
one too.
Cool.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a case study that Kelly shared in her book. She talked about this Hadza tribe of Tanzania, and they were studied by Herman Poncer, and they didn't exercise. They just like were very physically engaged in life, and
Hmm.
these high levels of physical activity, they had like uncommonly low anxiety and depression
Yeah,
within the community, within the tribe.
that's
And
amazing.
yeah, and so I mean it really does make a difference. And I'm like you, if I have a bad week, I can always look back and be like, well, you did not move your body
Right?
enough.
Yes.
I need a lot of it. I need a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I always look for that evidence for myself, like, oh yeah, you do feel so much better when you.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
actually, Hannah, on the nights that I do have really, really poor sleep, I try to make myself get out as soon as I can during the day, like
mm-hmm.
to do some exercise, because it really does, even though I might feel really, really crappy,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
does like help me feel better afterward.
mm-hmm.
Like, oh, like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I can cope and move
Mm-hmm.
forward with the day. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And so if you, so here, I was just thinking about like what's like a sort of way to make this easier, an experiment that you could do.
Yeah.
And something that I've been has been like a theme, a question I've been talking about is this question of like, what would this look like if it were fun? And I feel like that goes along with what Kelly was saying, like the joy of movement, right? How can
Yeah.
we make it fun? And I was thinking of a friend of mine and I, every once in a while, we will walk from my house to the beach, which is like it's 5 miles.
Wow.
And like I would never choose to do that on my own. Like that would be just
Yeah.
too long
Yeah.
and boring.
Mm-hmm.
But with her, it's so fun and it goes by so fast. And I don't notice like that my feet are tired and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, how can you kind of change your own internal definition of movement slash exercise into something that brings you joy, something that's
Mhm.
fun, so get creative. I mean, why not get creative when it comes to moving your body? There's no rule says you have to, that only certain things count.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's such a good point, Hannah. Even, I think about dance. I love dance, and oftentimes don't necessarily associate that with like being like a workout or like
yeah,
intense exercise, but
yeah.
like it's such great movement too. And
Hmm.
I think it has a lot of cognitive benefits as well, just in
And the
terms of,
social benefits.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So if you need any inspiration about like what movement could look like, I made this long list of things. Oh, I won't read the whole list, but maybe look in the show notes. You could go hiking, maybe join a hiking group, feed two birds with one scone.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
Pickleball. We just played pickleball on Monday, and it was so fun. Go walk around your neighborhood. I know when we had Matt Shearer on, he was saying he likes to like walk around his neighborhood at night. So, mm, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And then like you love yoga, walk around a parking lot, stretching, that
Yes.
counts, right?
Yeah.
Anything,
Yeah.
gardening, folding
Yeah.
laundry.
Yeah, and Hannah, even just thinking about the workday, like even like if you were able to just get up and like go
Yeah.
walk to like refill your water, or just like
Hmm.
building those movement breaks in even at that
Hmm.
like tiny level, I think can be really
Yeah. I
helpful.
have a
Yeah.
client who wanted to, he didn't really have any movement in his life. And so he wanted to include some. And he works in an office and he has like a 45-minute break, I think, lunch break. And so he decided he was going to start walking every day. And so he doesn't have ADHD. So he made this decision and then he just did it every day somehow and with no additional support. I was very surprised. and and so now he walks at work just about every day on his lunch break, and he said he just notices such a big difference
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
not necessarily like aside from the physical, right? He just
Right.
really
Right.
notices it. And so the next step is I said I was encouraging him to, because he wants to also bring more social connection into his life. So I said, why
Mhm.
don't you make a walking club?
I love that. We have and I'm sure these are elsewhere too, but one of our animal rescues has trying to think if they have it's a really catchy name that's escaping me right now. But basically it's a walking club where you come pick up a dog from the
No
shelter.
way.
Yeah, and so it's hiking with hounds. That's it.
That's so
Yeah, and
cool. What a
so
good idea.
yeah, so it's you get your hike
I would
in, you
do
get to be out in
that.
nature with other people, you're helping the dogs. It's super
Yeah,
cool.
that's
So
so
yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah. One of my retirement plans. That's going to be one of the
Yeah,
things I add
yeah.
in to
Wow.
do.
I
So
love
yeah.
it. So anyway, that's it for this episode. We will be coming back with a second episode
Yes.
with that where we talk about the other two, nutrition and social connection. And we hope you come back for that one.
Yeah.
And I know we normally only publish bi-weekly, but this one we will drop next week. So you get 3 episodes in a row.
Right.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yep. But then we'll be going back to
Okay.
our bi-weekly. So
Yeah.
sorry to all of our fans who are, begging us to record weekly.
Maybe one day, Hannah.
One
We'll
day. One day.
see.
Yeah. When we have
Yes.
staff, they can do all
Yes.
the editing.
Spread the word, everyone. We'll
Yes.
get on it weekly.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so hot. I'm so sweaty. Look how I'm like super
No,
glossy.
I'm sweating as well. Like I need to go change my shirt before I go
Ay,
off.
ay, ay. All right. Well,
Okay.
thanks everyone for listening. As
Yes.
always, we're so glad that you joined us, and we hope that this was interesting and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you found some small takeaway that you can apply to your life. And I mean, I guess like from an executive function point of view, like think creatively, think
Yes.
flexibly. It doesn't have to be what you think it should be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And Hannah, I would love to know if anyone wants to reach out to us and share what works for you. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think we learn so much from each other. So please, if you
Mhm.
found something that works for you, definitely let us know.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
All
All right.
right.
And check the show notes. We'll stick some of the research in
Yeah.
there as well. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And again, just a reminder that our podcast is not a substitute for professional mental health support. So please always take care of yourself. Reach out to a qualified licensed provider for help.
Yes. And we would love to hear from you. Like Amy just said, if you want to share with us what you do for sleep, or what maybe if you're looking for some support, send us your questions. We'll try to give you some help. And you can email us at hello@icanbehappier.com, or you can just visit our website. I think there's like a form on there where you can sign up for our newsletter, and you can always find us on some social media. We got Instagram, icanbehappier.podcast, Facebook and LinkedIn are both I think I can be happier. So so thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon. Nope.
Thanks, everyone.
Nope. We won't talk to you soon.
Nope.
We'll see you next week.